Natalie?
I'm good to go.
Okay. And Natalie's good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just give me the preliminary. I'm Sally Lipsky. We ask that you keep yourselves muted during the presentation. And if you have questions or comments, you can go ahead and put them in the chat room. And I'll be looking at the chat room, as will Brittany, I'm sure, and Natalie, to try to answer your questions. So we will begin, and I will introduce the two people who need no introductions. Okay, Dr. Natalie Gentile, who is from Gentile Family,
You got it.
Direct Family Care, okay, in Pittsburgh, okay, wonderful. You're looking for primary family care, she's the person, and of course, Brittany Jaroudi from the Jaroudi Family YouTube. So take it away, whoever's going to be first.
Okay, Brittany, did you want to say anything before I begin?
Nope, go ahead. I'm gonna get the grill all ready.
Awesome, okay. Hi, you guys, so nice to meet you. I'm Natalie Gentile, and as Sally said, thanks for the introduction. I'm a primary care doc here in Pittsburgh. I'm actually family medicine boarded, so I see all ages, and I'm lifestyle medicine boarded. So as a plant-based physician, I take nutrition and lifestyle in general extremely seriously when I take care of each and every one of my patients. So Brittany and I wanted to do our grilling presentation today. And I'm going to kick it off just with a really brief introduction about grilling in general and why it's sometimes gotten a bad name, and there are some things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to grilling. So I'm going to try and share my screen and hopefully do this correctly. Exit my full screen. Bear with me. So I'm only 32, but I seem old when it comes to this. All right, start here. And okay, hope you guys can see this. So we're going to be talking about summer grilling. Brittany's going to be cooking up some amazing food as usual, but I want to talk about grilling and your health. So what is grilling? Grilling, as we know, is absolutely delicious, but when it comes to what grilling does to our food, the focus here is about it being a direct source of heat as opposed to indirect. Typically, food is very close to that heat, and it's a dry form of heat, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Good, I think I broke up there. So why does grilling tend to get a bad name? I took this from a website that was actually from an insurance company that had this whole thing about how can you reduce your risk of cancer when it comes to grilling. And the reason why they brought that up in the first place is because grilling's gotten a bad name when it comes to that high temperature cooking, and how when people have, typically they grill meat, and how exposing that meat to really high temperatures in the form of grilling can cause some very unhealthy chemicals to form. So if you guys have heard in the past, like maybe you should cut back on grilling foods, I'm going to talk a little bit about why, but when it comes to that rumor going around, it's pretty true when it comes to grilling animal products. So we get these production of these chemicals that are really harmful to humans, including heterocyclic amines, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and the big one that I want to talk about is AGEs. So advanced glycation end products. These are formed in the body as a very normal part of our metabolism. Okay, and I'll show you a big picture of when this happens, but we also can get them from food. And in particular, when food is exposed to really high heats, like grilling. What we know about AGEs has come to light more in the past decade or so. So before this, even like 20 plus years ago, the literature was showing, AGEs aren't really that important when it comes to disease processes in the body. But what we know now is what you'll see on these three pictures I showed. The first is a picture of an elderly woman. What we know about advanced glycation end products is that they have a big effect on our aging process. and a big effect on our cognition. So they can accelerate the aging process when we have an imbalance or too many AGE body. Come to, and you look up some of the work by Michael Greger on nutritionfacts.org about AGE production, he talks about sirtuin. It's this compound that's really important in the body to help DNA and the DNA stability when it's wrapped around histones. This is all super important when it comes to the process of aging and how we can protect the DNA in our body and turn it off, DNA expression when we need to, and turn it on when we need to. If that's not going correctly, when we have many AGEs in the body, that's when we can have diseases. What we know about AGEs is that it goes beyond a connection with aging. Age production is AGE production, has to do with cardiovascular disease. It has to do with anemia, chronic kidney disease, osteoporosis. Anybody here know anybody or personally has had any of these diseases? I think we can all say that we've been touched by some form of chronic disease or with somebody in our family. As I had said, AGEs are produced as a normal part of metabolism, but when we have altered metabolism in the body, we can have an increase in AGE production. Also, as you can see on the top of this picture, a high dietary intake of AGEs in the form of animal products that are cooked way too hot, like grilled, broiled, barbecued, they can lead to an increase in these disease processes, which then can reduce longevity. So the answer then is a lower dietary AGE intake, you have a lower chronic disease risk and an increase in longevity. So then you're asking yourself probably like, okay, so I can't grill anything? Like is it grilling that's the issue? I understand this is a plant-based thing, like I'm gonna eat more plants. So the good news is before and after cooking, foods that are carbohydrate rich in the form of carbs, like the fruits, the veggies, the whole grains, these foods before and after cooking don't really have a huge AGE production. So no matter what kind of form you're cooking your vegetables in, or you're grilling your pineapple, for example, AGE production is not something that you need to be explicitly worried about. Whereas with animal foods, foods that are really high in protein and high in fat, they start out with a high AGE amount. And then when you're grilling them, broiling them, exposing them to really high heat, that's when you get even more AGE production. So you're in the clear when it comes to grilling and high heat exposure of your plant products, with the exception of the caveat. So I found this to be a really important point, and I have to admit, I grill my tofu, like whenever we grill, I grill my tofu, no problem. I didn't realize that was a bad thing. And so thankfully, Brittany was teaching me about this, and I started to look into the literature about it. So I'm gonna pull up this paper, and hopefully we can all see it together. But I took a little snapshot of it here if we aren't able to fully see it together as a group. Hello. Bear with me, guys. Remember what I said? I'm like not knowing what to do here. Let's do this. I'm gonna pull a new thing that I'm showing you, and I want you guys to be able to use this as a resource when you're doing your grilling. I swear I'm a better doctor than I am a computer user. PMC 370456. All right, well, it's not coming up. But anyway, I took a little snapshot of it, and hopefully I can pull it up when I stop sharing. So if you see this snapshot up in the corner, this paper went through a database of foods that that the scientists had started to assess what the AGE production is when you cook or don't cook certain foods, all the way ranging from like cheeses to vegetables to meat products to meat substitutes, and talked about what the AGE production is in the body and what the production is per amount of food that you eat. And so that's what these three columns are. So I want you to look at that first column. That's the amount of AGEs. So just to give you a little—
Excuse me 1 second. Natalie, we can't see the screen that you're talking about.
Can you see this on my slide?
We see
You see that little square up there?
No, we did previously to the previous, but then once you pulled up this Google page,
You see a page?
yes.
Yay! Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that that was happening. Let's go back to this. Can you see this?
Now we can see
Okay,
it.
thanks, Sally. Sorry, you guys. A nationwide mess up here. Sorry about that. So here's the table I'm talking about. All right, so let's try this again. First column is that I want you to use as your reference, okay? And to compare that to the AGE content of a pan-fried steak with olive oil, 10,058. Now look at this first column here for tofu in different formats. You see that it's in general, at most, less than half the amount of content, but still, when you see a sauteed tofu and then you can extrapolate to a grilled tofu, the AGE production is going to go up. So typically now, and especially by Dr. Greger, when you see a lot of work on this, he talks about that are really high in fat and high in protein, even plant foods that are that, like nuts and tofu. It's better to go raw. It's better to go more steamed. And what I have on this next page is moist heat versus dry heat. So for high fat, high protein plant foods, boiling, poaching, simmering, stewing, these moist heat options, okay? Dry heat, which includes grilling, is going to be awesome for our fruits, our vegetables, and our lower fat, lower plant protein foods. Even if you take a look at that article, which I've linked in the PowerPoint, it does go over the meat substitutes. So it's a great resource for you to take a look at when you're trying to decide, is this something that I feel like is appropriate to grill or not to grill? That is the question. So that will be something that you can utilize. I'm talking about this link down here that you can utilize that has a really great database of over 200 foods when you're trying to decide on that. So as I said, it was going to be a really quick little overview, but this is my information. Please, that's my phone number, my email. I want to hear from anybody and everybody who has questions. And if we want to start with a little bit of a chat before Brittany kick starts into cooking for us, I'd be happy to answer questions. Meantime, I'm going to be pulling up that article to show you guys.
Since if you come up with questions, you know, feel free to put it in the chat room. Looks like no one has a question right now, so why don't we just move on to Brittany? So who's I?
Me.
Hi,
Yes.
I'd love to hear your question.
2 questions actually. What insurance do you take? Because I'm interested. And 2, how does plant-based, because I asked Brittany this question too, how does plant-based help with mental health? Here's what I did. When I cut out meat, I was never really a big meat eater growing up. My parents had to fight with me to eat meat. But once I cut that out, my health significantly improved. Now, I will say this, have I cheated and ate meat since then? Have I slipped up? Yeah, absolutely. But what I've noticed is what triggers it, it's meat, if that makes sense. Is that weird? And then when I have it now, it makes me like high.
Yeah, so I there's definitely correlations between mental health and animal food intake. I suspect that a lot of it comes down to the multitude of effects that eating animal products have in our body. So it's not just like one particular thing, right? Like we talked today about the AGE production, but obviously there's so much that goes into what we eat and what it does to our body. When I think of mental health in food and animal products, I really start to think of the gut microbiome. And I really start to think of that type of literature because there seems to be a great correlation between what we're eating, what the gut are eating, and how that ends up affecting our hormone production, which then keys in big time to mental health. So to answer your question, you're not crazy. I see that all the time. And it's one of the biggest things I prescribe for people who have issues with mental health is plant-based diet. And then to answer your other question, I am fortunate enough that I don't do anything with insurance. So I have a membership-based cash pay practice and my patients get to see me as much as they need to. Don't have to answer to any insurance. Woo! And
Well, that
like,
helps.
Fiber Fuel is a great book on gut health. Yes, that's like my favorite right now is Fiber Fueled. I see that in the chat room. I've been talking a lot about that book lately. So check that out if you, are thinking about the mental health thing too. That book is awesome.
And that book covers that as well, correct?
It does. It talks about irritable bowel syndrome. And it's more of like a broad strokes about the importance of fiber and how it's affecting the gut microbiome.
Okay. Thank you.
I found the paper too, you guys. If anybody wants to see, I'm just going to show you real quickly how comprehensive this thing is. Okay, so this is the table in their paper where they're up to 549 foods. So they added 200 some when they did this study to what was already in the database. But it talks a lot. I love this one, meat and meat substitutes, because it tells us about our veggie burgers and like what a soybean burger, a boca burger, things like that you might have at a party if you're going to like a grill or a barbecue, in the summer. So really cool paper to share. You guys want to check that out? Other questions?
Brittany, if you want to start?
Thanks, you guys.
Well,
Sure. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm on headsets and I'm outside, so hopefully it's all good. Can I get a yes in the chat? You guys can hear me okay? I'm not lagging. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to be making 3 different things tonight. I have my charcoal grill. I got it going, so it's nice and hot. But I'm going to show you a couple of things before I turn you guys around and show you my grill. The first thing is that we're going to be grilling all the things that Dr. Natalie Gentile talked about tonight that are safe. So I think one of the things that people talk about when they make tofu is a lot of people like to grill it or bake it, and same with using roasted nuts and seeds. And it's something that I've been following Dr. Greer for a while now, since I started being plant-based. And over the last 2 years, he really has pushed doing a lot of that raw or steaming your tofu. And so any recipes on our website all have, if we bake tofu, it's at a very, very low temperature, almost like dehydrating it. And if we're baking things like our plant-based burgers, there isn't tofu, there isn't nuts and seeds in it, because I want to bake it, or you can even air fry it. So tonight we're going to make our burgers, which I have a video on. I also have the recipe, which I just put in the chat box. For grilling these burgers, what I really like is I really like to get a grill basket. Lena, I keep my tofu at below 250. So, and again, you have to give it the longer time if you're going to bake it, but under 250, I always stay with my recipes. So I really like a grill basket, because a lot of the times plant-based burgers, especially ones you're making at home, are crumbly. How many people have had a plant-based burger you've made that has fallen apart? That's mainly the big issue with them, is that they just don't hold up. Ours hold up really well, but another trick is to put them in your freezer or your refrigerator about an hour before you're ready to cook them in the oven or grill them, and they hold up really, really nice. Now, our recipe you can do with any beans. Tonight I did chickpeas and kidney beans instead of black beans. And I kept it in our freezer and just made little patties, so you guys can see here. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into my grill basket, and then I'm going to put them onto my charcoal grill. And then they're going to get really nice. Now, another thing with grilling is that I'm not using any tin foil. I'm not using any oil for the basket, nothing like that, no cooking spray. The main thing too, when you saute or anything, is just to let it go long enough where it won't stick. So that's kind of the same thing we're going to do with this. So I have all of my burgers in my basket, and I just got this at Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm going to swing you guys around. All right, See my new fancy charcoal grill we just got. All right, so all I do is I have charcoal on here now, and it's already hot, and I'm just gonna put my basket on, and then I'm going to, there you go, put it on, and I'm just gonna cover it, and I'm just gonna let it do its thing for around 10 to 15 minutes. While it's starting, you guys can see my setup. We're gonna grill some fruit. So I love this because this is my favorite dessert, grilled peaches. You wanna make sure that they are soft enough where you touch them, that you can, you know, they're ripe. That's really the key with making sure they're juicy and good. Don't put an unripe peach on your grill. It won't be very good. Another thing Dr. Natalie Gentile talked about was grilling pineapple. That's also very delicious, and you can do that on skewers. And I've seen people air fry pineapple before, so if you don't want to grill, that's another awesome way to do it. And this is so simple that actually we make nice cream, which is just bananas, and you can make it with bananas or non-dairy milk and put vanilla or some kind of, you can put chocolate, you can do so many different things. But we use the inside of our grilled peach, which, see, this one might be really ripe. All right, put the inside of it where the pit was is where we're gonna put a scoop of your nice cream, which is fantastic. So all you're gonna do is you're just gonna remove the pit. And then there are a couple different ways you can do this. You can just put it right on the grill with nothing on it. Another thing I like to do to even like bump up the flavor even more is I actually get a peach white balsamic vinegar, and I put a little bit on and just brush it on and then grill it, and it like magnifies the peachness of it. You can also do other balsamic vinegars. Black fig is really good with the peach. Also, they have a vanilla. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, I go to the Olive Merchant in Murraysville, and I get all different kinds of balsamic vinegars. You can get them online at several different places. They make sweet, savory, all different kinds, white and dark. And we just love them. There's so many different flavors and different things. So you can do, they also have a chocolate espresso balsamic that's very good for desserts as well. And you can have a lot of fun with this. So I'm gonna throw these on to my grill as well. See where my hook is. All right, and what I'm gonna do with these is I'm just gonna put them face down, pits out, right on the grill. And then I'm gonna cook these alongside with the burgers. And again, you can check on them, but you want them to be nice and juicy. You can get the grill marks if you leave it on long enough. And that's really an easy way. Now, when you do this with charcoal, it does produce like a different smokiness to it. So if you've made my burgers in the oven, if you made them in the air fryer, these just have so much more flavor. And I made these a couple of days ago, just like testing out grilling and stuff and different temperatures with it. And they were like the best burgers that we've had in a long time. So it is kind of an extra step if you want to get the charcoal out and actually grill. Plus, it's really nice for when you have a summer cookout and you can still have something. So I'm gonna grab the vegetables for the kebabs. I made a little marinade, so they've been sitting in the marinade for like an hour. We're gonna make kebabs and then we'll grill them. And again, it's really simple and easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. Those burgers took not even 10 minutes to make in my food processor. I just stuck them, didn't make patties, just stuck it into my refrigerator, let it get nice and chilled, and then made my patties when I want to go and grill them. So it's very similar to how you would do an animal product or like a beef burger. It's very, very similar, and I think people overthink a lot of different things with grilling, and you can have carrot dogs and so many different things too that are just amazing. So I'm going to be right back for a second. I'm going to grab the kebabs out of my refrigerator and then we'll make them.
while we're waiting for Brittany, I just have to add, she will be Chef AJ's special guest this Saturday at, I want to say 2 p.m. She'll be doing a live demo. Is that correct, Brittany? Okay.
All right, so for kebabs, you can do literally so many different things. Again, just leave your tofu for something else. Don't kebab tofu. But what I like to do is I like to do some potatoes, some little red potatoes, corn on the cob. You can cut them into smaller pieces. And Marcia, it's 2 p.m. Pittsburgh time, Eastern. Yep. And then I like to do a bunch of different vegetables. Usually I do this whenever I want to clean out my refrigerator. I just grab whatever we have. And so I had corn and potatoes today. Now these two I did boil beforehand because I really want, the other vegetables will cook very fast. So you don't want to be, putting raw corn on your kebabs or raw potatoes. It takes way too long. So I just boiled them both and cooked them, and then we're just going to roast them on the kebabs. This bunch is raw vegetables that I have in a marinade. So I have some baby bella mushrooms, some tomatoes from my aunt's garden. I have green bell peppers, some onion. You can do whatever vegetables that you actually enjoy. I always tell people do what you like. And it's a lot of fun. So this is a really good family activity. You can have your kids or grandkids help you assemble these. And they're beautiful because they're all different colors. So I will show you guys. I just found wooden bamboo sticks. You can also get like the steel ones as well. And it's just a lot of fun. You can just kind of make, I mean, you guys know how to do kebabs, but I just like to kind of go with each color, and you can kind of spread them out. And you could also do this with all raw vegetables and then do like a glaze. Like you can use a brush to brush on balsamic or whatever you'd like. Now my marinade was some vegetable broth. It was, I used the fig balsamic this time, and I used a little bit of Dijon mustard, and it is so good. Super easy and simple. You could also use some savory balsamics. I have a garlic balsamic inside. There's also a company that does teriyaki flavored, so if you want more teriyaki. And so it's just like endless, the combinations. So you can stick your marinated vegetables on, and you can just pack them however many you want. And it's just, like I said, it's a lot of fun, very vibrant. You can pack them closer together. And I really like onion on ours. So they're all, so the only thing cooked is the potatoes and the corn. They were boiled. You can kind of go back. So this is a really great family activity. If you're supervising your kids, make sure these kebab skewers are a little bit sharp. If you have some older kids, this is a lot of fun. And you could do this over the fire. It can be, you can also do this inside. Grilling inside is really great. You can also grill watermelon is really good. So there's so many different ideas and recipes online that you can find. All right, so it looks like a pretty stacked one. And then I would just keep going with all of the, till I don't have any more. And it really does make for like a really easy summer meal. So I'm gonna check on my peaches and see if my burgers need flips. So we'll take our field trip. You're on a wheeled desk that I use while I walk on my treadmill while I work. I just got a new walking treadmill so I can stay active. And then I just check on it just like you would any other burger. All right, so they start to get brown. They flip really easy. It didn't stick at all, okay? There's no oil. There's no anything. It's just letting it cook. They are super held together. Let me show you guys. It's not falling apart at all. And then, so I gave those a flip. Let me see about the peaches. All right, they're starting to get nice and caramelized. They're very ripe, so it's really good. So I'm gonna let them go for a little bit longer. The peaches, sometimes you'll think that they are done, but they can go a little bit more. And then after they're done, I'm just gonna put the kabobs on, and those will only need about 10 minutes as well until everything's roasted to the point that you like it. And yeah, it's just super easy. So the hardest part is getting your grill lit and everything together for that. But other than that, everything else is a piece of cake. You can make this all ahead of time. So another tip is that if you're having, whenever we're allowed to get together with family groups again, past years when we've done cookouts, I will have made the burgers, like I said, put them in the refrigerator, not even formed patties yet. And you can make your kabobs, keep those in the refrigerator or in the marinade until you're ready. And the grilled peaches are so much fun to do right before you serve them, so they're nice and warm. And you can make your nice cream ahead of time and keep that in the freezer. So really simple meals, really great. You can make some whole grain with this and serve it on the side, and you have like a whole, maybe for Labor Day, great meal that keeps a little bit of summer. So while we're waiting on the grill, and again, all the temperature times will kind of depend on how hot your grill is, what size of your grill and everything else like that. I generally just like to peek on it every 10 minutes. That's usually a safe bet. But it's so much fun. So I really enjoy. I tell my husband, you're not gonna grill, I'm gonna grill. And it's just a whole new way of cooking. That's really, I think, a lot of fun. So do you guys have any questions while we're waiting? I hope my internet connection is still good. Like I said, we're outside, so.
I am Brittany. Can you grill broccoli?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what I would suggest with the broccoli is, I'm gonna mute you just for a minute because it was kicking back. See about getting one of those pans that I showed at the beginning. Those are really nice just so nothing falls through. And then what you can do is you can make like a marinade or even like a spray. What I do sometimes is get like a spray bottle, and you can put vegetable broth in the spray bottle and spritz it on. And that really helps to kind of steam your broccoli and grill it. And then you can put other things too in the spray bottle. You can make like a little marinade and kind of just spritz it on when you want. Broccolini is beautiful on the grill. You could do roasted red bell peppers. We also do this can be over the campfire, but we do kind of a date s'mores idea. So what we do is we roast a date, and that's really delicious and gets gooey. But you can have so much fun. And so grilling doesn't just have to be for people that, aren't vegan or plant-based. Like I said, the amount of different combinations you can do is really great. You can pretty much grill, bok choy is really good as well on there. I'm trying to think of other vegetables that are pretty much zucchini. So another really good thing is to add some squash to these skewers. So I mean, it's a great combination to go from now all the way up until it gets too cold. Let's see, Barbara asked about the recipes. I'll put the recipes in the show notes to the Plant Pittsburgh's YouTube channel. So we'll send it out, and then you guys will have it. The balsamics I get from the Olive Merchant. I'll also put a link. You can order them online, but there are all different kinds of flavors. So we used a black fig balsamic today. We also used, you could use a peach balsamic, like a white balsamic. That's really nice. So there's teriyaki, there's a bunch, and there's all different kinds of places that sell balsamic vinegars. I did cook the potatoes, so I just boiled them in water for around till you could poke them with a fork, and then I'm gonna grill them. So the corn and the potatoes were cooked ahead of time, and I just boiled both of them. Melanie, our stairs, and they still need painted. And see my back, this needs painted, half of the other side needs painted. But our stairs lead up to the other part of our yard. And my husband actually built those stairs. Still needs a handrail, but it was a pretty big summer project. But it goes up to a whole flat part. It's a really nice place to do yoga. Let's see. When I bake tofu at 250, generally it's going to be a lot longer of a time. And I always check that it can brown a little, but I don't want it to be like, you know, you're pretty much dehydrating it. So I would say around like 40 minutes is generally, but I steam my tofu often or we'll crumble it and like saute it, but like kind of like a tofu scramble. I don't know about I mean, if it's kind of like a convection oven, so you might be able to, I don't know. Does your air fryer go below 350?
That's what I don't know, but I was wondering that
Yeah.
same, Brittany, when it came to like, I couldn't find any literature on the air frying versus.
Yeah, I would think that anytime it gets like darkened or blackened, that's probably too much. So I have the Breville Smart Oven Air, and I just can crumble it in there. I get extra firm tofu. I don't even press my tofu. I just drain the water. It's super easy. I don't even own a tofu press. And I just let it kind of dehydrate. And it will get like slightly, like a little bit brown, not even really, like more like, I don't even know, like just more a little bit off white than it is. But it tastes so good. So that's generally how I do it in the oven. Joyce, it depends on, all depends on like your height and your weight and everything like that. I don't even worry about my protein. Generally, I think I get around like 56 grams a day. I'm only 4'11". So I just follow Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. I eat beans 3 times a day, which ends up being a cup and a half of beans. And so I get more than enough protein from that, and other sources like all of your food has a little bit of protein in it. So I don't worry about protein at all. You can get onto a website like Chronometer that has a free tracking. And so if you are interested or want to know like how much calcium you're getting a day or how much different vitamins and different things like that, you can get on that. And that's a good way of doing it. But I follow the Daily Dozen, so when I put all that information in, I'm good for I'm in the normal range for everything. I get everything I need.
And right now, that the American gets twice the amount they need anyway of protein.
Yeah.
So I think, unless you're out running like, marathons most days, or in my case, like as a nursing mom, like these are things to take into account when it comes to protein intake. But in general, like you said, you're going to get what you need from a plant-based diet, especially if you're following the Daily Dozen as a nice guide. Yeah.
And when I track it, I'm always getting in everything I need. So it's very easy to do it without even, if you're getting enough calories in a day, you're pretty much on point. Corey, I haven't found a way of getting tofu really crunchy without overheating it. Soy curls you could do and you kind of like rehydrate them to dehydrate them with your seasonings if you cook them at a lower heat for longer. Like we do, we make kind of like a barbecue, it's more like a barbecue jerky kind of idea with the soy curls, but it's just dehydrating it at a lower heat for longer. Soy curls are just soybeans that they dehydrated, and I've only seen one brand carry them, Butler soy curls. You can look at them online, but you can shred them. It's very much resemblance of chicken. It's actually, if you haven't had chicken in a long time, it's kind of mind-blowing that it resembles it so much. So it's a very interesting food to try out. Whenever we get back together, I'll bring you a bag of soy curls to try out, because it's pretty fun. All right, so I'm gonna check on everything. We should be definitely done. All right. So these look really good. And like I said, the flavor is really, really lovely. But I mean, everything in here is already technically cooked because in my burger recipe, it's just rolled oats. There is beans in it, there's seasoning. So I mean, that's not like, even if you ate it raw, which wouldn't be very appealing because it's kind of mushy when you make the burgers, it would be good. So it just adds, like, what I like about this is that the outside of it gets nice and crispy, but the inside of it is still kind of soft. So it holds up. And I blended it so where you can still see the beans, but you could blend it where you can't see them completely. But you can see it gets nice and brown. And again, smoking it adds a whole new flavor to it. So it's really, really interesting. So I'm gonna remove my pan. And again, I just got this off of, I think we were at Lowe's or Home Depot. They sell them in most stores. And it's just nice because it'll keep everything from falling through if you're grilling. Something larger. And then you can put your bobs on. You can let them do their thing. Okay, you see how nice it gets? I could let this go a little bit longer to get the grill marks, but it's perfect and nice and juicy and very, very good. So I make these into little cups, and then I'll scoop out a scoop of vanilla and ice cream that I made on top, and it's good to go. So we'll let that cook. We'll see if that gets done before the end. You can see I told my husband he had to wait till 8 o'clock to eat dinner. So he probably will be lured out by the smell. It does smell really good. Barbara, nice cream is just, you can get any kind of blender. You don't have to get anything fancy. You can get a Yonana's machine if you want, but just a blender will do. And I just take, 2 frozen bananas, maybe 1/4 of a cup of a non-dairy unsweetened milk. And then you can put whatever flavoring you want into it. You can add some vanilla extract. You can add some cacao powder or chocolate powder. You can make a chocolate peppermint in the winter. So many different flavorings that you can do. So you could put other fruits like strawberry, make it strawberry flavored. And we just keep it in a glass loaf pan. I'll make a bunch of it, put it in a glass loaf pan, spread it evenly, stick it in our freezer. You can wrap it in like saran wrap so it doesn't get freezer burned. And then I just take an ice cream scooper and scoop it out, and it's perfect. We also have a plant-based blizzard recipe that has like a Twix bar replica that we made with different things that we did with ice cream. So that's on our channel as well if you want to go all out and have a lot of fun with that. But yep, grilling is really easy. Like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated or intimidating. It's really, really simple. We just have, like I said, a Weber charcoal grill, and you can experiment and have a lot of fun with this and have, with your family that you live with, you can enjoy it and be outside and still enjoy all of the really great foods that are healthy for you. So again, you can also make the burger recipe and freeze it before you make it. You can make it into patties before you cook it and freeze them, and then just pull them out of the freezer and grill them. So that's another easy way. As you can see. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Oh, you also can get a grill pan for your stovetop. I can grab that real quick and show you guys. I grilled up some bok choy for dinner, so it's dirty right now, but you can get a grill pan as well. And then you can cook it inside and, still get those lines if you want. And this is just a ceramic pan that I got from, I think, Home Goods. And it's been really good. So you can have it inside as well if you you don't want to get a grill out and everything. You guys are a quiet group tonight. So Barb asked where we can get my recipes or the recipes. We'll post them on our YouTube channel for Plant-Based Pittsburgh, but the burger I made, I just sent, oh, let me put it to everyone. Hold on, guys. I just, okay, posted it right there. So I found for burger buns, I really like the Ezekiel hamburger buns if you can find them. We're very lucky here in Pittsburgh. If you guys are in Pittsburgh, the East End Food Co-op has it in their freezer section. And so I just will get that when I want a hamburger bun, or my husband wants a burger bun. We also use like pita breads, are really an easy burger recipe, or you can make your own at home. We do have a oat rolls recipe that we can also use for a bun. Joyce, I don't have that problem. My husband went plant-based about 6 months after me, and he hates to cook, so he wasn't making lobster and steak anyway, even if he wanted to, so I didn't have that problem. But I would just suggest, you know, making the food that you enjoy, and then you can offer it to them, and I'm sure a bunch of people in this group too can talk about how to ease your way into having your spouse or family members get more on board with being plant-based or doing it. I do believe there's a little bit of salt in those Ezekiel hamburger buns, but I don't think it's a lot. And so for me, that is still whole grain. That's something I'm willing to have for to have an actual bun. Sometimes if you can find like a local bakery, they might be able to make like a whole wheat bun without oil. Okay, well, I don't know if there's any more questions. I'll check on the kebabs. Might take a little bit longer because it's the last thing I'm doing on our grill. Yeah, a little bit longer. It's hard when I was trying to think about how to do this when we both were cooking, and then you want everything to be hot when you start. So it will take just a little bit longer before I roll it to the next side. Does anyone else have any questions? Go ahead. Lisa asked if I put anything in my indoor pan before cooking on it. I don't. This one is a ceramic nonstick, so it does really beautifully. And again, usually if you let stuff go longer, or if you use a little bit of vegetable stock or something like that, or even water, you can saute really easily. Yes, you can make carrot dogs. So if you're gonna make and grill a carrot, the key to doing that is to make sure you give it something to marinate in. So making some kind of, like I said, the balsamic, you can do vegetable broth, you can do a bunch of seasonings in like a Ziploc bag, and then letting everything sit for a while, and it'll take on those flavors. So that's a really easy way of grilling a carrot. You can also do, Engine 2 has a really good kind of like a bratwurst recipe where they used rice paper. So you can kind of make kind of like the burger recipe we have, and then wrap it in a rice paper and grill that. And then that'll make the nice grill marks as well. That's a great idea for having a hot dog or bratwurst substitute. I stay away from liquid smoke. I know some people use it. I generally try to follow Dr. Greger's guidelines with things, and that's not something that he has deemed a green light food or a yellow light food. So, I mean, I'm sure a little bit would be fine for flavor, but I don't even have it. I don't keep it in our house. It's not something I cook with generally. If you do like liquid smoke though, Jill McKeever has a Facebook page, and she also has recipe books, and she uses liquid smoke, and she has some really great recipes. I'm glad you enjoyed the Shamrock Shake. It's a good one any time of the year, especially if you have mint right now. All right, well, it's probably gonna take a little bit longer for the kebabs, but again, you just would roast them until they're a little bit grilled on either side, and then they're done. So it's pretty easy recipe. I'll post photos of them in our Facebook group once they're finished for everyone to see. And I agree, smoked paprika is really good for carrot dogs. So yeah, like I said, I'll post pictures of everything on the Facebook page, and we'll put it on our YouTube channel after we're done here, and I'll post the recipes. And then if you guys, of course, make any of these, make sure you tag Plant-Based Pittsburgh, because we'd love to see the recipes you make from our classes. And yeah, on Saturday, I'll be on Chef AJ's YouTube channel at 2 p.m. I'm making different really cool different boards like that you would serve at a party that are a lot of fun right now, different combinations of like a breakfast board, and they're a lot of fun whenever you have people over or you're hosting, or if you're trying to get a member of your family to be plant-based and you really want like a fun Sunday morning. So I'll have a bunch of great ideas for that. This is recorded, so again, it'll be posted on our Facebook page, and we'll post it on YouTube and everything after it's done. Oh, Chef AJ, yep, she always records. She's been having people on every day, so hers will be recorded and it'll be on her Facebook page. And you can just go to Chef AJ on YouTube or on her Facebook page. She streams it from both.
I just want to say thank you to both of you, Natalie and Brittany. It was a really informative and fun presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great night. Thanks, Brittany.